Thanks for joining us for part 2 of the interview, and you can get part 1 in the first YouTube video. This is the second YouTube video, part 2 of this interview. And he features in this edition of EATT Magazine, and you can get show notes and more details at eattmag.com if you want to go to the web. So without further ado, we'll jump straight into the interview now with Tony.
I know that video is actually very challenging. I've got a few friends and a few artists that have appeared in the magazine that have been doing reasonably well out of video, but video is such a challenge. So is that something that you're galloping into, Heston-like, enthusiastically, or?
Well, I've dabbled in it over the years, and I've shown a little bit. I showed some in a show last year, and that was the first time for 5 or 6 years that I've shown any video.
Okay.
But I like it, and I like to use it in a painterly way.
Yeah, sure.
So I like short, slow moving, and sort of things you would appreciate in the same time frame as you would a painting.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah. So making a film, I imagine, would be horrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the sort of ones, I like it, and the technology, of course, is making it easier and easier.
Yeah. Look, it is actually. I must admit, once I recovered, sort of 24 hours ago, and I was on the last stretch, and I had to do a complete hack in order to bring it from one format into another format and 3 formats back into original format. I was like, yes, okay. There's an easy part about this. It was in there somewhere. I can't find it now, so that's good. Actually, I must admit, one of the best exhibitions I was at recently did have like a small video in a single room of a single artist. It was just one of those.
It's a way of grabbing our attention,
right?
And if you do it in the right way, it can be a very powerful thing in the gallery, and I think it sits well next to paintings too. Actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when will we be likely to see this Heston moment galloping down the sand, so to speak, in terms of that?
Well, actually, the next show's in Hong Kong, so
right. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah,
all right.
Not sure when I'll be showing next in Australia.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. That's brilliant. And so, just for as we're going to wrap up before we go in and meet the crowds, is there anything that you'd like to share with aspiring artists? We've got a lot of people that listen to this podcast from various parts of the world, Hong Kong, Singapore, and other places. A lot of younger artists that are galloping out into the world and getting ready to, I guess, hit the pace in their own individual way. Is there any advice that you'd give artists that are just at the beginning of their journey, wanting to kind of, I guess, get their message out in a unique way? Is there anything that you've found that you've done that's really helped you that would be good for them too?
Well, you've really got to trust your instincts.
Yeah, sure.
And that's the main thing.
Yeah.
For me, that's what it's about. Whenever I come up with a new body of work, there's usually a delay in terms of people getting it, I suppose.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It can take a couple of years, but you really have to trust yourself through that time, and you can't really listen to what people say, whether it's flattering or not so flattering.
Yeah.
If you believe in the work, you've really got to
stick
by it.
Yeah, so when you're surrounded by those people going, I don't get it, I don't get it, then, I guess, you could say get away from those people for a while and really hold on to your
well, if you do believe, if you've got to trust your instincts. If you're an artist, you've got those visual instincts, and the sort of images that you're attracted to, and the sort of images that you want to make. Yeah. And you've really got to stay true to those instincts. Yeah. And that means being very critical while you're making the work.
Yeah, sure.
And then standing by the work after you've made it.
Yeah, that's right. So it's really, and it's also, I suppose, that artistic process where you have to also be true to yourself, don't you? You have to be able to kind of hunker in and hold on.
You've got to not lie to yourself.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. You've got to not say, okay, this is good enough.
So we're going to go in now, and all will be revealed. So yes. I'm really excited to have a look at these, and I guess we won't be with you physically in Hong Kong, but we'll certainly be with you in spirit. and we look forward to hearing about that show, and we look forward to seeing your, what is the map? Is it map painting?
Map painting, it's called.
Map
yes,
painting.
MATTE.
Okay, all right, okay. So we're looking forward to that. So thank you very much for your time. That's excellent.
Thank you, Carl.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for that first part of the magazine podcasts, which are now inside the magazine. And so I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what's in the magazine this issue. This is the Periscope issue, and there's a fantastic article in there by Kathy Hackle, who is leading the Periscope Summit. I believe there is one coming up in New York. There's also one in San Francisco. And in that article, Kathy gives us a brilliant overview, in a sense, of what Periscope is and what its potential is. And she talks about the kind of industries that it's going to be important in. And we understand, obviously, travel and tourism, fitness, technology, entrepreneurship, certainly for startups, real estate, coaching, conferences, fashion, retail, crafts, all of those things where you are able to stream live video. We're at the very beginning of the Periscope journey in a sense, and it's obviously going to really need to evolve very quickly in order to accommodate all of these things. And as more and more people are using this new technology, it will evolve in that way. And so it's a very interesting sort of overview, and there's some great screenshots of what it looks like for those of you that haven't downloaded the app. And then next, we obviously talk to, we look at the images from Tony's production of slow motion as well, which we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. Silicon Beach, it's a very candid interview, and he really opens up in terms of how he got to the group and how that's really affected the direction of the way Silicon Beach is going. And then, of course, we've got the book Invisible, The Dangerous Allure of the Unseen by Philip Ball. And Philip Ball's podcast, of course, which is a very, very interesting, in-depth look at his worldview, in a sense. And he opens up very much into his latest book coming out, which is around China. It's going to be a very, very interesting take, and so I'm really looking forward to our listeners picking up on that podcast. It's brilliant. And then the next is we've got a podcast in there, which is with Andy Hennessy. And he talks about his experience in designing retail spaces and how customers interact in a retail space. And that's also a brilliant podcast that's available on iTunes as well. And you can find that on our website, eatmag.com. And then Justin Esgar, who is he's an upcoming guest in our podcast stream. He's got some of his best-selling apps include Truck Food, Goodnight, the Parental Monitoring app, and Sign My iPad, which is a global PDF signature app. It's used a lot within the real estate industry. And Justin's also got a podcast, so and he's a writer also for entrepreneur.com. And then we also take a look at BusyVid, which is the new video branding app that actually puts branding inside your videos. We did a full podcast with Helen from BusyVid, and you can go back in the podcast stream in order to find that podcast, which is really a fantastic tool for startups and businesses, particularly small businesses that are doing a lot with video, or really not even needing to do a lot with video. If you're going to do a video, you need to brand it, and this is just a very beautiful, simple, cheap, and easy way of doing it. And then we also take a look at another startup, which is basically another branding startup, and it's called BrandSpot. And BrandSpot basically allows you to upload not only your logos, which was the initial part of the process for a BrandSpot, where you could just upload your logos and then you'd give somebody a login and they could just download whatever size they want, and you didn't have to try and find files and send them off and all of that. It's a brilliant idea, but they're actually moving much more into the cloud. They've got a bit of a bundle, a special bundle deal, which is available on their website and will be putting that into the magazine as well. So that's a brilliant story there with Brand Spot. And Brand Spot is actually brought together by Amanda Watts and Kate Lanyon. And our Detoxing in Bali is by Deborah Waters, who is our one of our many travel writers. So we hope you enjoy that, and we look forward to catching up with you shortly. And I've got some news. We're going to an island, and it's not a tropical island, but it's an island near me. And when you think about the islands near me, if you try and imagine what island I could be going to, where I'm going to be podcasting from, it's not that one. It's not the one you're thinking of. But it's probably the first time there's ever been a podcast from this island, so stay tuned.